Everybody, we are back. It is Taped on Live's favorite podcast, favorite channel, favorite everything. We are back. You guys already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also, follow us on Twitter at the March on NFL for me, at Glen Rockney for Glen. And of course, pandasubs.com, discount code TDL. All right, guys. So we're back. It's Friday Night Live again. We're back here. Talking some. We're not doing a mock draft this week though, but you get to answer you guys' questions, and we're gonna do some. Look at the O line fits. Look what Tom Telesco does for O lineman history. Kind of look at his history of O line picks and see who fits there. Because that is a big thing for the Raiders, and they need some linemen. They do. I was looking at the depth chart today on a post by Vic Tafer. That offense looks very dire. So I don't know what they're doing. They're obviously going to feel that in the draft. I guess they're going young on offense. And of course, let's just go over the rundown. What are we doing today, Glenn? How are you feeling, Glenn? Let's start there. How you feeling, man?
Oh, I'm all right. I it's not much action this week. I didn't really care for the Alexander Madison signing. I just got to say that much. Not, I don't view it as this like big, huge mistake by the team. I just view it as kind of nothing. And I felt like there was something that could have been done. I think a lot of people, I think you encountered it on Twitter this week. A lot of people don't really know what he is. And like they people think he's like this shifty, like New England Patriot style, like scat back, like, which he's not. And I was kind of like, well, and he never really jumps off the screen at me. So I just didn't feel like that was the move. But other than that, I don't blame Telesco for like lack of moves or anything. I anticipated more. I anticipated more just things happening. But for the most part, other than the Madison stuff, I've been okay with what he's done. And I think he's going to extend some guys.
Yeah, I mean, they've re-signed a lot of guys.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one thing that has been happening. Them re-signing people. I mean, they just re-signed Palomar, Mountain Point High School, the same high school as me. Mm-hmm. And then so Palomar, he got re-signed. And then you got Andre James got re-signed, John Jenkins, Adam Butler. The list goes on. They re-signed a lot of them. So that's what we're kind of learning too, is that they kind of like the defense from last year too. They like how the defense is going to go, but I still think they have a little hole at cornerback with that Tre'Davious White visit. So, but that is a kind of the situation there. They're re-signing their own players, and I think that's a lot of the signings here, right? He's a Muaga too. Re-sign Muaga. Like, there's just constantly bringing a lot of guys back, and that has been the big part of free agency. That they haven't been active getting outside people. But the Raiders have been very active re-signing their own guys. And, the only guy they really didn't re-sign was Josh Jacobs. So that's kind of the most.
Yeah, they're similar to they're such a similar team to the Colts right now. I've come to realize that's what the Colts have done in free agency for the most part. Is I can't remember if they made any like big moves, but they re-signed Pittman. They re-signed a lot of their guys, right? And they were a team that was a fringe playoff team. I mean, them and the Raiders played a pretty meaningful game down the stretch last year, but both didn't quite have the season that they wanted to. In fact, they switched quarterbacks, or not switched, but one quarterback's on the other team now in Minshew. But then they're kind of similar in that regard, where like I think both teams like what they have going on. They have a couple glaring holes. Colts have a young quarterback like Richardson that they can at least be anticipating, but for the most part, I think they're just those fringe teams where a lot of the league views them as nothing. Kind of like, what are these guys doing? They just want to be mediocre forever. But I think inside the building, they're kind of like, look, we got a lot of good performances out of guys last year. We just need a couple impact players. And they've already got one in Wilkins. So we'll see if they can add a couple, like 2 or 3, a combination of free agency in the draft, 2 to 3 more like real impact kind of guys, not Pro Bowl or anything, just guys that show up on Sundays and look good. I think we're looking at a double-digit potential win team as is.
Yeah, because I mean they're 8-9 last year. So I mean I know the outside media acts like they went 4-12 because I mean this is really how they act, or 4-13. Sorry, guys.
Right.
Got to update it. 4-13. They act like they went 4-13. This is an 8-9 team. This is not like a bad football team, and it was only +1. But the Raiders, we don't have, as Raiders fans, we don't have a lot of positive point differential seasons. This is like the second one since 2010, right? And that was so they look at that, right? And that's a real big key of winning is point differential, right? So when you have that point differential, you can say it's a Chargers game. It doesn't matter. You beat a team, you kick a team's ass. That's how you get. That's how. So that's what playoff teams do. They kick ass, right? They play a bad team, they kick their ass, right?
Yeah.
And then that's what they did to the Chargers. So you can talk about, oh, they didn't have the backup quarterback. They did what they're supposed to do, and that's why they had the +1 point differential. So they're looking at them like an 8-9 team.
Well,
Right?
you have the what I think Pierce gets. Probably this is the thing that really sold me on Pierce, other than like him stopping Jack Jones from having a meltdown at Kansas City, manually stopping that himself, realizing what was happening, how fired up Jack Jones was, how well he's been playing, but stopping a dumb penalty from happening. But what the other thing is he stopped the penalties came to a screeching halt under Antonio Pierce within the same season. This was the same team that Josh McDaniels had. Like a lot of really dumb penalties under Josh McDaniels, and Pierce, which you wouldn't think, right? If I thought like a kind of a like rah linebacker guy was like taking over my team, I would expect like some more penalties, but more explosive plays. And they played really disciplined for the most part, which I thought that's what I'm most excited about is just even the team as is with that of training camp under Pierce. That's pretty, there's a lot to like. That's why I'm actually pretty still excited. I'm actually excited. I don't need the huge moves that everybody else needs.
Yeah. Basically, Pierce is Tom Coughlin from Compton. So that's how we're having this
Tom
discipline.
Compton.
Tom Compton. That's a new nickname, Tom Compton. All right, guys. So what we're gonna be talking about today, I got a little rundown here. We're gonna do talk about Telesco interview. I saw a couple questions about that. We'll talk about it real quick. We're gonna do O-line fits. We got a trade back scenario.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna talk about if Drake Maye falls and loading up the defensive line because the Raiders have been watching defensive linemen at pro days pretty heavy there at Brendan Fisk. They were live. The D line coach went to Florida State.
That's interesting.
That's Jared Verse, and that is Brandon Fisk. Okay, so we're gonna talk about that. And there's a huge thing about Latu, and Pierce went there. He's at UCLA's pro day. Watching Latu. I mean, you can even talk about Dallas Turner at this point if they're looking at those guys like that. Talk about loading up the D line and what that really means and what their outlook looks for that. All right. So, anything else, Glenn? Before you get anything?
No. I think that's interesting. I want to eventually. I think some of the D line talk that's confusing everybody. I think we're going to get to that in some of our scenarios. So I'll save some of that for that segment.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting. Some of that's been the most interesting Raider stuff of the week is who shows up where at what pro day. And like, Pierce is talking to Terrion Arnold, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like directly, which that's not nothing either. Like that's definitely something. Like, and everyone could tell from hearing Arnold talk that it's like, okay, this is a guy like for sure that Pierce is gonna like. But then some of the other ones, D-line showing up at the D-line, people who think when you sign Christian Wilkins that, hey, we're guys, no more D-line. We have needs, and I think it's going to be the draft is going to have some head scratchers to a lot of people who want them to draft for need.
Yeah. 100%. And I don't think Telesco's a need guy, really, to be honest.
No, and he shouldn't be. You literally, honestly, I don't think it's a good idea to draft for need. It's just not you reach on guys. I think Mike Mayock drafted for need.
All right, a couple questions. We'll get to them before we get to this Tom Telesco interview because I see a question that's going to lead me into the interview that I really like. So, did you guys watch Max's podcast with the D line? I did not watch that yet, but I'm going to.
I heard the Tyree Wilson clip, which I really liked. Yeah, I like. I'm a big Tyree Wilson fan. I think he's gonna be really good. So, but he said Tyree Wilson was like, yeah, just the offseason was crazy. I didn't really get any live reps, and then all of a sudden I played 12 snaps in the preseason, and then all of a sudden it's Denver, and he goes, and I was ass. That's what he said. He was like, I was just ass, and they all started laughing, and like kind of like, yeah, you were. But as we know, we like the way Tyree finished the season. It's a little more promising, but it's that part I saw, which was really cool.
All right, do this question and we'll get it going. So, do you have any thoughts on Jordan Travis? I know Jordan Travis had a top 30 visit. I'm gonna do Jordan Travis this week on the next episode. But Jordan Travis is he's a project. That's what I would say. I'm not gonna. I saw some people getting mad at me because I talked about him last time in my mentions. talking about Jordan Travis, but he's a project and he's old and he's hurt.
He's got a hive. He's got a hive on Twitter though, dude.
Yeah, he does.
Oh my lord.
Well, I mean, he was on an undefeated Florida State team, so but you know, he's a project. That's the type of thing that we can talk about with him. Really, the most is he's a guy you got to develop, but he's old. He's coming off an injury, so like, how much do you want to take the time, or you could be patient with that? It's not like he's 21 or anything like that. So that's the thing with him. All right, so let's get this going, man. Let's get this going. Where's that question? I saw it. I probably got to start here.
Yeah, shout out to the questions though.
Yeah, shout out to the questions already, guys. I appreciate it. So Telesco said the Raiders gonna use a scheme Madison was being used with the first couple of years of Vikings. You know what the scheme that is. All right. So Tom Telesco had an interview, and it was faster than because I saw a tweet about it, right? And the tweet I saw was from Tristan Kuhn. It was super detailed. And I was like, man, this must be like a long interview. So I went and watched it. It was like 10 minutes. It was like 8 minutes or something like that. It was super quick answers, right? And I think a lot of it too was kind of JT the Brick was kind of like pushing him answers.
Yeah.
A little bit. It was like he was pushing him answers, you know, because let's keep it real. It's the Raiders home channel. It wasn't like it was like an outside. It wasn't like it was on Rich Eisen show.
Yeah. It
wasn't like it was on something like that. It was the Raiders kind of home free agency show. There's a lot of we on the show and stuff like that. So it was kind of pushed to him a lot of easier questions. But one thing he did point out, he talked about Madison a lot. He did point out Madison, it did run a scheme that was 2 years ago, and that scheme is his own scheme. He did say they're going to play zone. I thought that was super interesting in that interview because Madison isn't the greatest zone back, and either is Zamir White. But I want to tell you, Glenn, part of this running back conversation he said we're going to have 4 running backs sharing carries.
I like the concept. I just didn't like Madison. I didn't like Madison being one of the 4, to be honest. I like the idea, Tommy. I see it. I see what you're trying to do. And that's fine. Yeah. Maybe Madison proves me wrong. I also don't. What is Madison's money? Do we know? I actually never saw the
No, they haven't released that. I haven't seen it.
Okay, because if it's like $6 million, I'll be kind of mad, right? But if it's like league minimum or just kind of like 1.5 or something like that, he might not make the team. That's the other thing. Like, I don't think Alexander Madison's this guy when you sign him. Oh, that's a lock to make the team. I have to see the money. If there's guaranteed money, yes, he is a lock. But if there's not, or if there's just low minimal cap hit, if you get rid of him, if they draft somebody, which is a good problem to have, they draft somebody and Madison's just not really looking that great or whatever, he might be gone.
Yeah. Yeah, to be honest, to me, when he said it was 4 running back group, I mean, they got running backs there. So, I mean, there's going to be a battle to see who actually becomes a running back here. You know, because the thing with Madison, he isn't the best zone back in the world. And that's why I thought it was interesting. Telesco did kind of throw out that hit. He ran a scheme a couple years ago. But I was like, bro, he ran that scheme last year. That's what I was thinking in my head when he said it, right? So I think he kind of knows that he's not the best fit for power. And even when he talked about him passing, that was more of a JT the Brick kind of pushing. He's a great passer. He's like, yeah. You kind of look at his face. He's like, yeah, he could catch the ball. So I think Telesco kind of knows what he is a little bit. I think Derek Long is this the number, Derek? Is this the number 3.6 that he got 1 year 3.6?
Yeah, I mean that sounds like it could be like that. I would believe that number. I don't know. I thought that was yards per carry, but
yeah. So I was hoping. Yeah, maybe is it?
I hope it's not yards per carry. It sounds about right. So a little over an eighth. A little over an eighth a carry.
A little over an eighth, right?
Yeah, your dealer likes you.
He that was an accident.
The plug likes you. Yeah,
exactly. The plug likes you because you little, you know, does it for the ladies.
I said that was an accident. So were you texting your weed man? Yeah, that point. Oh, my bad. I sent that to YouTube Live. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Yeah, the details haven't came out for that, so that was super interesting with Madison. Just the way he talked about him. It seemed different. He did hype up Andre James a lot. He does really like Andre James, so that's gonna be the center for sure. He did talk about Andre James. The other interesting thing he talked about kind of with Minshew too. He even talked about with Minshew, like bringing him in for competition for Aiden. So like, I know a lot of people are assuming that Aiden is not going to be the starter, but I don't know. I thought that was interesting to say too, just like bring in competition for Aiden. It wasn't like we're bringing competition so they could compete. We're bringing competition for.
I agree.
For Aiden. So I thought that was interesting. What are your thoughts of that, Glenn?
No, I agree. I don't think you sign like the kind. I think the top end backup money is kind of like, look, we like this guy. We like the guy we have. We might think we might love him. You know what I mean? But just in case we don't, just in case the new system isn't for him, we got this guy for a year. We got this Gardner Minshew thing for a year. Swing again next year. Now that they could make another swing this year, the more I think about it, I think they're going to try to make a move on draft night, but I don't know that they're going to go no matter what. I have to, I don't know. They might get outbid, right? Because I think they do kind of like their O'Connell a little bit.
Yeah, I think they like O'Connell more than people, or more than they say, or more than they're portraying. But it'll be interesting to see. I mean, they don't have a quarterback. They have to. I mean, you have to have three, I guess. I mean, they don't have. It was Anthony Brown is the other guy. They got to bring in a quarterback. So, I mean, I don't know what the other plan is. That basically tells they're planning on drafting somebody. If they don't, we don't know where they're going to draft them. I was talking about they had Jordan Travis in for a top 30 visit, which is kind of showing that they're interested in quarterbacks, because the reason why you bring in Jordan Travis for a top 30 visit is the injuries, right? You want to check out his injuries. I mean, that's a lot more visits are about that. I mean, because you don't got to visit with most of these guys. Maybe they do if they did a private workout, that's different. But they brought in Jordan Travis to check his medicals, to check his, basically his injury history, his series out with that. That's kind of the main thing you do with a lot of top 30 visits is, we're trying to see if you are healthy or not, right? So I don't know. It's got to be, they got to do something at quarterback position. The other interesting part too was wide receiver, which I think, I don't know, that is I saw the depth chart today. That is a wasteland. Unless they're, it's a wasteland, bro. So I think they might draft a wide receiver too, man. I don't know when that's gonna happen.
What do you mean the depth chart's a wasteland?
It's Trey Tucker, Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, and then.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen worse Raiders receiving corps.
I mean, where's the depth though? I mean, I'm talking about the depth. Like that's what I mean. I'm not saying that's bad. Okay, look, Jacoby Myers and Devontae Adams are good. I'm not saying that. I mean, great. I ain't saying that. Let me take that back. I'm basically saying there's no depth there. I mean, you got Christian Wilkerson is still there. I mean, if guys go down, they don't really have anybody, and they're really, that's when I saw that, I was like, oh wow, like what if they do something and just piss every Raiders fan off and take a wide receiver at 13 or something like that?
I've thought about that and I wouldn't hate it because I think this is a really good class for it. I'm best player available. We'll find a spot for the good players. The Raiders are not above adding a good player at any position. I'm sorry. It's just that you have to get that through your mind right now. Any position right now. I would be mad if they used running back at 13, but other than that, I would be pretty I could understand any move where you thought like, okay, this guy's a beast, and he slipped and he fell to us. That being said, they do need to add some speed to that receiving core. Like they need one more speed guy. I think you have Tucker, but sure, he's definitely a guy and I like him, but you have to add some more speed. Perhaps even a like a project. That's a position you can add a project at, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
Like a guy who's like, I wouldn't know. I think you're more you're more schooled on what the kind of like late sleeper kind of projects ran well, but the tape it maybe isn't that great. Didn't get a lot of targets. One of those guys, right? That you can add in like the third, fourth round, even like third, maybe even fourth round. That fans might go, we don't need a receiver, but then in like all of a sudden you realize like, no, okay, God forbid Adams or Myers goes down. Then you start seeing maybe a different Raider offense there,
Yeah, because that's what I was looking at. I was like, oh my God, if Devontae or Jacoby Myers got hurt, and trusting Trey Tucker in the slot is very bold. I'll say that. I mean, you could do it, but it's bold, right? He just really hasn't shown that he could be a slot receiver at this point. So if you expect him to kind of take that route when he played outside basically all last year, he didn't play inside last year. So you're doing a lot of projecting there. And I don't think they're going to do that. I think he's going to stay the deep threat outside. They're going to mix him in there. And the smart thing to do is move Jacoby Myers inside. So they need another outside guy.
Yep.
So, right. So I think whoever they want it to be, and let Trey Tucker battle out with that guy, and maybe Trey Tucker wins that position, and he can run routes better than he did last year. We love it. But if they bring somebody else in to work that in, that'd be interesting too. And then we are talking about D-line, but Tom Telesco did talk about kind of make sure there's a fresh D-line rotation too. I think there's a goal in their head that they want Max Crosby to play less snaps for some reason. I don't know why.
I do. I mean, just his health. Like we saw him kind of look a little human last year, health wise. I mean, he had a great year, but not like less snaps. But I want to be able to take him off the field and have it not be a tire fire. You know what I mean? Like just like a big tire factory on fire. Like I don't. That's what I want to be able to do here and there because you don't want him to play all those snaps. I don't know if you saw that breaking news, by the way, Marcus.
What breaking news we saw?
In the chat now, you can verify or not. I haven't verified. I hope you guys weren't with Adarn Schefter or something and fooling us, but it looks like L'Jarius Sneed was traded to the Titans.
Oh, okay.
Which that's division. It's not Raider related, but it's the Chiefs. You know what I mean? Like it's who everybody's trying to beat right now, including the Raiders. So I'm not sure if that's real or not, but that's good for the Titans. They're more of an up and coming team, but that's good for Raider fans because now the Chiefs kind of have to take the corner high or have to think about making a trade for a corner or something.
Yeah. Somebody's talking about Ayuk trade. Ayuk, it would take a first though, man. They want a first.
It sounds like they want a first and a player, right? That's what the Jaguars turned down. Now, if the Jaguars were dumb because it's like they're like, allegedly they wanted 17 and Zay Jones. I'm like, well, if I'm getting Ayuk, why do I need Zay Jones? Like it's the pick I would hope that they didn't want to part with, but I wouldn't be like, yo, dude, like no, you can't take Zay Jones. No, you can't have him. Everybody likes him. He seems like a nice guy, but you just no, I can't do that. So the trade is true, by the way. So I don't know. I'm guessing. Did they get to the Titans? What did the Titans trade for him?
I don't know. It had to be really high for Sneed. It has to be
not the 7th overall pick, though. I'd be so mad.
It had to be. I don't know. Does it say a 3rd and a 7th? That's not true.
Well, you got to pay him.
Yeah,
you got to pay him. So that's a 3rd and a 7th. Man. They would never trade him to the Raiders.
But 3rd and a 7th is.
Oh, yeah. I would do that. I would have done that.
I would have done that in a heartbeat.
But they're not. They would have taxed the Raiders. They'd be like, we want pick 44, which I still would have done. Yeah. But I just mean like they'd be like, I want pick 44 and Devontae Adams. They'd be like, nah, man. What?
Yeah, and I did forget about Michael Mayer. That's true. Michael Mayer is there too.
How dare you? First off, how dare you?
You're right. I did forget about Michael Mayer, but
I bought a jersey. I hope you know that.
Still, man. And of course, trade for T. That's what we do here. We want T Higgins. This is a T Higgins channel.
I'm Team Ayuk, dude. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know. Ayuk got locked up in the Super Bowl for me. That's my thing for giving up a first for him. Like the Chiefs were like, hey, we're gonna play press man and see if you guys can beat us, and they just didn't get open, and that scares me. That's why I'm a little scared of him.
You hating on a Sun Devil, dude? I hate.
I know. It's terrible, man.
I hate to see it.
It's awful. It's awful, bro. All right, let's get to these O-line fits. So got any quick questions before we move on here? People want Ayuk, man. I just want T.
I think Ayuk fits the offense. I mean, no, I'm not. I'd be okay with T Higgins. I'm not saying I like him. I don't know. Last year I kind of came on late, and he was like, I don't know. He just kind of looked pedestrian to me last year at times.
Yes, yeah, he did. He dealt with some injuries last year, but it is what it is. People ask about Jordan Travis. That's why I'm doing Jordan Travis on the next show because everybody I want to see Jordan Travis. I'm gonna just do a whole breakdown.
Yeah,
answer all your questions there, guys. So JPJ is a monster. Okay.
Yeah.
He is.
That's correct.
He is, and that is a good leeway. I like this. Good leeway by JP. Is this? Are you sure your last name is Timko? JP.
Yeah. Jackson Power Johnson. Thanks for watching Tape Don't Lie tonight.
All right, guys. So I did a little deep dive into what Tom Telesco likes at offensive tackles. I had a little pushback on that a little bit. People were telling me that GMs don't do that, but I mean Chris Ballard does. Doesn't matter who Chris Ballard's coach is. He's drafting a wide receiver just like Alec Pierce. That's a Chris Ballard draft pick, and I think Tom Telesco, he hasn't changed his ways with how he does things with offensive linemen. All right. His first one was DJ Fluker, and I think DJ Fluker scared the hell out of him. He's actually on the team right now.
I was gonna say he's on the roster, right?
Yeah, right. But that was his first ever draft pick was DJ Fluker. That was his first ever draft pick as a GM. DJ Fluker. I didn't know Tom Telesco was a Bill Polian guy either. I did not know that. Yeah, from all the way back in the day in Buffalo. He interned with Bill Polian. Then he worked from the Colts from 1998 to till he got the job with the Chargers. So yeah, he's a Bill Polian guy. So that tells you a little bit about him. But he's also a PFF guy. So I guess he's moved on from that too.
I'm telling you, they're gonna draft very PFF this year. I think. Look, there's parts of that I like, and parts of it I don't like.
Yeah. So let's do this. All right, let's get to it. So let's look at some measurements. Let's start with offensive tackle, which is kind of the one that's more first round at 13, a choice of 13. So some of the measurements here: 6'4". I took out DJ Fluker because he was so long ago, and he just didn't draft the tackle. I don't know if that scared him. I don't know what happened to Tom Telesco. I think it kind of freaked him out a little bit.
Till Slater, right?
He didn't take a tackle till
in the first round. I mean,
in the first round
with a high pick. I know he actually found some good tackles, like Jamari Sawyer, like that. He found some like pretty solid tackles on like day 2 and 3. Actually, I was looking at some of his drafts. Like Jamari Sawyer is a solid tackle for where he was drafted. So there's also that, guys.
Yeah, because Fluker he like lifted a lot of these things. So Fluker's like 340. Is long, but every other tackle he's drafted is these small guys. So we got 6'4", 307 is small. I'm gonna tell you that, guys. That's not a big offensive tackle, but that is basically, I mean, that's kind of what the modern offensive tackle is more. It's not really a JC Latham. JC Latham is like an old school right tackle, in my opinion, kind of big fat guy playing tackle. It's an old school thing. I know Fuaga's a little big, but he wasn't, I don't think he's that big. So we'll check him out though. But so 307, arms 33 and an eighth. He is not big arm guy. He's not Tom Cable. Hands is a big thing for him. Okay. He likes guys with big hands. He likes linemen with big hands. So Olu's out the window because Olu has 8-inch hands. We're not drafting Olu.
So you're on record right now. Olu Fashanu will not be drafted by the Raiders.
I mean, I'm not going to say that because he's such a good player. Maybe he'll just ignore the hand size because he might. Right. There has been times where it depends, because if a guy is good in these areas, he'll ignore some of this. So if you make up for this, like you have great times here in these areas. So I might hear more. So you got some great areas here in this one. He'll overpass this. That's why some of these weights are so small, because Rashawn Slater he destroyed all of these. Okay, so Rashawn Slater destroyed all of these, but he has some. Rashawn Slater says big old hands, but he doesn't have the arms, and he was basically around this weight too. But he's still 6'4" too. So a lot of these guys are around this area for that. So that is what a Tom Telesco offensive tackle kind of looks like from that perspective. I know it's not going to be perfect. All right. All right, guys. It's not going to be perfect. I know, but this is how I landed Zamir White. I knew the Raiders were going to draft Zamir White this way. This is how I landed Alex Leatherwood with Tom Cable.
Thank you for your service, by the way.
No way. Hey. It's not, these guys are pretty simple people. These guys are simples. They're simpletons. Sometimes.
No, I agree. Plug and play. They want something plug and play. They want it fits all that, fits what I'm looking at on my clipboard, my spreadsheet, and I like his tape. All right. That's how they go.
All right, so let's get some of these tackles. Let's start with honorable mentions first. I'm going to start with the honorable mentions here. So honorable mention guys that are kind of have some of these traits, but don't have all of them. You got Tyler Guyton, who they were there. He could be a guy that they take. He's missing just a couple of them, but he has most of them.
John Gruden's all over Tyler Guyton, by the way.
Yeah,
John Gruden is taking Tyler Guyton. Like, he is like kidnapping Mike Mayock and stuffing him in a trunk and saying, we're drafting Tyler Guyton.
Yeah, Tyler Guyton. That's why he's an interesting guy for me, because they worked him out personally, right? Since they did a personal workout with him at the pro day. James Craig is the only time the offensive line coach has been anywhere. He's been anywhere. He went to Oklahoma and worked out Tyler Guyton, right? So I think that's a key one.
Okay.
He's a secret guy. there. Honorable mention, Kingsley Suamataia. I'm probably saying that wrong, guys. You already know. He's a sleeper too. I think he's more like if they don't take a tackle, let's say they do quarterback or whatever at 13 or whatever they finagle to get a quarterback or whatever the position they go. He could be a second round guy at tackle. Of course, he played left. He'd have to move to right, but he's a fit. Most of this is a Samoan fit here type of thing. He likes Samoans. I'm just taking that. I think Rashawn Slater's half Samoan too, to be honest. And Roger Rosegarten, who's the right
that's
tackle.
An interesting tidbit. I'm sorry, that's an interesting tidbit though, like that you just said right there. Do you think? No, I like Samoan guys, like on the offensive line, defensive line. I'm like, when I see that, it adds to it every time. I'm like, yeah, but he's gonna play like good sound, but also nasty football. Like it's just every time, like most of the time, it feels like it works out.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, I like that about Tommy T. I'm with him on that.
Yeah, I mean, Roger Rosegarten is a pretty good, damn good player too. He has some pretty good tape. Athletic, very athletic. He hits all the numbers too. But he's just more of a. Let's say at 44, right? If they don't take a tackle in the first round, they can get a tackle here with Roger Rosegarten. All right. So, he's actually started to enjoy your take on names. See, you guys get used to it. I love it.
I don't think you got that name wrong.
I didn't, but
Suamataia. How else do you say that?
Suamataia. I've been practicing, man. I don't know.
I think you got that one. I gotta give you that one. Yeah, I mean it is funny. I'm not gonna lie, he's right. But like, I like when you're just like, nah, it's his name. I don't care. Like whatever I said's his name.
Exactly.
I like that. That's football. That's real football coaches. They're just like, all right, I'm gonna call you K.
Number 60. I mean? 60. Get over here.
Yeah,
That's what
Sua. All right, Sua.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 60. Exactly. Yeah, come on.
60. What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'll let the Hall of Fame carve the name into your bust if you do your job. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Come on, 60. That's a coach right there.
Yeah.
All right. So one of these guys is very far fetched, but he's like the ultimate fit. You probably already know who it is. Glen. Who's the ultimate fit here? Who do you think it is?
Joe Alt.
Yeah, it's Joe Alt.
The boy. Look at. I mean, doesn't that look like a Hall of Fame offensive tackle to you?
He's like that. Like, if he even has an inkling of falling, this might be like.
There's a path. I'm telling you, there's a path. I think the Titans are gonna love him. Since we've confirmed they have the 7th overall pick. Thank God that the Chiefs didn't get that. But Joe Alt is the guy, right? Like I think if he falls to 13, you just cannot pass on that. But there's a path. Like some guys might like Olu. Some O-line is very. I think the reason you're doing this video is because other teams have completely different views on these guys just because of measurements and scheme and stuff.
Yeah. O-line is big measurements. These guys. We could talk about like the other positions but O-line, the measurements are super huge for these guys because it's the arm length. Some teams have arm length. We talk about Tom Cable.
Yeah.
You ain't got 35-inch arms. He's looking at you funny. Like he wouldn't have drafted Rashawn Slater. You know what I mean? Or he would have tried to move him to guard. Like some teams thought about doing. So, and what you did with Leatherwood, anyways, right? So,
right.
So there's things like that. But yeah, this dude is the ultimate fit. Like if the Raiders, people attacked me when Deshaun Reed was talking about trading up to 7 and 7 or 5, and I was like, okay, or they might be trading up for a tackle if they stayed there. This would be the guy. They would take him. And we talk about it was interesting. People were talking about last week about people moving over to right tackle. You could probably move him over to right tackle, and he can make it happen and make it work. But this is like the dream guy.
Yeah,
for this is Telesco's like he dreams at night. He could draft Joe Alt.
Draft night. I'm four beers and a couple edibles deep, trying to figure out the link to the live stream to cry on the stream with you and Matt Holder. I'm already got the jersey in the cart. I'm like, he's keeping 76. It's free. It's a free number on the Raiders. I'm ordering the jersey already. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
No, you guys won't understand. If I have Michael Mayer and Joe Alt on the same team, I am Gardner Minshew at that point. I become him.
Yeah, it's a little out there, but I just want to put that out there. He was like the ultimate fit. Like he literally hit everything.
The ultimate fit. for the
Yeah, I
Raiders.
mean, it
Let's
was
go.
maybe the vert, he was under it, maybe some couple of those things, and maybe the bench press, but he's like right there. You know what I mean? Like where he doesn't get nitpicky. Because Telesco he'll go a little under, he'll go a little over. It's not like an exact science like Tom Cable, but it has to be in those areas. So realistic. Now let's go more realistic at 13 here. We got Talisi Fuaga. He is fit. He basically hits almost all of these except like 40 time, but he's under their 10-yard split. The verts, the broad, and the 3-cone are all something Tom Telesco's gonna love. He's gonna love all these guys with this look. So he is a real option at 13. Like even if you're a fan, I know a lot of fans love him. They want Talisi Fuaga too, but he is a fit. He's gonna love him too. So if he falls to 13, and which there's a good chance, but I saw an article by Yahoo, and the guy interviewed scouts, right, and they picked him as the number 1 tackle. He's the number 1. So, and that's what you're talking about. Like we don't know where these tackles go because some team is gonna have some, like a tackle like him, and maybe pick him higher than we think. So, and then you might see, some of these guys fall. I mean, teams might like Latham a lot. Latham did hit everything. I see somebody talking about Latham, but he didn't hit everything. He just didn't do any drills. So and I think DJ Fluker scared the hell out of Tom Telesco. He's never drafted anybody that big since.
Same school too.
He's never drafted anybody that big sense at tackle.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is.
I know you're not supposed to helmet scout, but it would creep into his mind. He's like, well, I did this once at this school. Like he's gonna get flashbacks of watching Fluker, which the guy's last name's Fluker. That's on you, Tom. It's a fluke. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's on the team though. He might get a chance to start at right tackle.
What if he loves him? What if he's like, no, we're set at that. What are you guys talking about? We're set.
Yeah, DJ Fluker, man. I drafted him. I
got it for much cheaper this time. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not saying he wouldn't draft him based on Fluker, but it's just interesting that the first tackle he drafts is this big 336-pound, 35-inch arm, 11-inch hands guy, and then he drafted all these smaller guys ever since. To me, that seems like he's looking at things differently. Like, why did I draft DJ Fluker? Why didn't it work out? Because Fluker really didn't work out for the Chargers, right? So he's I'm just trying to get in his mind. I could be wrong, guys. It's
all speculation. We're just having fun.
We're just draft season, man. Everybody's guessing, to be honest. But Fuaga is a fit. All right, he is a fit. Don't be surprised. Now, I talked about this guy a little bit on Twitter, but the secret fit is this dude is Troy Fautanu from Washington.
Mm-hmm.
This dude, he literally hit every mark, like on the money. So he's right over the weight. He's 6'3". He's a little under the height, but that's fine. That's what I said. He's 6'3" and 3/4. Like he's basically 6'4", right? Arms, hands, 40 time, 10-yard split, vert, crazy broad, crazy 3-cone, crazy short shuttle. So he is a secret guy because he has a projection to move inside.
Yep.
So if they take him, they could move him inside too, right? And if they, they like the right tackles they have, that could be an option with him. But he's a sneaky guy in this, man. He just is something that it's something that Tom Telesco would like. He had a great combine, very athletic. It was very similar to Slater's. His combine was very similar to Slater.
He's a good player. I mean, he's a really good player. But people always, these guys tend to fall sometimes as these like kind of in between, these like tweener guys where some teams see him as this, some teams see him as that. Do I see him as a guard? What are my thresholds, right? Which is why you're doing this right now. Like, what are my thresholds? And I had heard for a long time that he was probably going to slate in a guard, but there were so many people impressed by his workout that you do have to try him at tackle.
Yeah, he has the arms for it, man.
You got to try it because that athletic, he's really athletic. And is he Samoan or Tongan? I'm not sure. Does it matter to Tom Telesco?
It doesn't matter to Tom Telesco.
Yeah, he's just like again, are we getting the boost here? Are we getting the bump? I'm interested to see the draft this year. How many? You know what I mean? How many like Islander dudes like get drafted? the more the merrier. And the Raiders are missing that, I think, a little bit. Polomau's a nice young player, like let's keep building on that.
I mean, Alohi Gilman, when he drafted him a safety, man, I'm telling you,
that's true. And I think Drew Tranquil is part too. I'm not sure. I can't. He was a Notre Dame guy. I thought he was at least part. Yeah, it's interesting. This is very interesting. I did not expect this development tonight, but I'm intrigued. Yeah,
man. But that's crazy because I really wasn't thinking of him as a fit. Like, I was thinking of Fuaga. I'd done stuff on Fuaga. Joel. Okay, so it's just that's not nothing crazy. But this guy, see, and this is when we talk about teams just drafting linemen, right? Like that they feel like are fits. I don't know how some Raiders fans might be pissed if they took him at 13, but they would be slapping hands and be like, yeah, we got one. And, so it's all going to be about what they like and see what they do there. But yeah, if they take him or somebody or at 13, I mean, maybe he has a trade up. I see somebody asked the question, would he trade up for take him at 13? Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know how far he would fall though, man. With that combine.
I think teams are. I think the league is pretty high on this dude.
Oh man, it's gonna be a run on tackle. So that's because that's the thing. Because if they do their studying and they figure out there's a good run on tackles, then maybe we take this guy or take a guy we like. I really feel like from doing this kind of studying, I would be in between Fuaga and Fatanu.
Both picks are great with me. Like I've been a big Fuaga guy for this whole process. Alt is like the kind of like, oh, can you believe it that he's here? That's like I don't even factor that in right now as a possibility. But stranger things have happened than Joe Alt falling to 13. But like Fontenot and Fuaga, I really like those guys a lot. I mean, I like a lot of the tackles. I kind of like, if it's not a surprise play for a top quarterback, I kind of would really like to leave the first round with a tackle. Yeah. And I like a lot of them. There's really not any of them that I like. Guyton's kind of the wild card where you're like, this could be bad, but also these really good athletes like that, they do develop over time, like Colton Miller did. Like, but for the most part, I really don't have any tackles that I'm like, no, man. I like even the Arizona, the guy from Arizona, like who's I might be available in the second round. Jordan Morgan, is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like him too. I just think they all seem pretty good. It just seems like one of those years.
Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be because that's what the thing is JC Latham. I feel like the Chargers are going to take, if the Chargers go tackle, I think they're going to take JC Latham.
I could see that.
Right. Because he's a power guy. I mean, he's what if Jim Harbaugh, that's his Anthony Davis, right? That's what he's looking at. He's thinking he's Anthony Davis. They might take him there with that. So that would be interesting if they go there, man. If they do take that route, it could be Anthony Davis, JC Latham type of guy. And then you see these tackles start falling, and we get to see who we do that. And yes, at 5, it sounds crazy. Dude, it does. But he's a technician from Alabama who's 340 pounds, and he had a great pro day. It's not. It sounds crazy now, but it's just.
But if he's their top tackle, why wouldn't they take him? Like that's what people don't realize. Like if that's your top tackle, it doesn't matter where you're picking. I got my top tackle. He's here. Like these guys view it that way. Like look, we're not saying it is JC Latham. We're just saying if it doesn't matter. What if their top tackle is Tyler Guyton? Like you don't know. I mean, I think the Chargers and the Cardinals are both, their phone lines are going to be very busy, and both teams have the Cardinals I feel like should stay at 4, but Monty Ossenfort, their GM, did say we're fielding calls. So if you got something, let me know. I think the Cardinals should stay at 4 and take Marvin Harrison. But a team like the Chargers, where you're like, if Marvin Harrison or any of these guys playing under Harbaugh, like it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Like Neighbors and Harrison, it doesn't seem like something they need to spend a premium pick at that position with. I see the Chargers, if they stay at 5, going for something in the trenches. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's gonna be interesting with that tackle, man. Tackle's gonna be interesting. All right, so let's get to guard here. Spend a little too much time on this, but it's fine. We'll get to guard here. So guard, There's only a couple honorable mentions on this one. You got Dominic Pooney from Kansas and Christian Haynes from Connecticut. Dominic Pooney, he played tackle, but he played guard, center, and tackle at the Senior Bowl. He's projected to play guard. He's a great. He basically hit every single thing, but he's more of a. I don't know. He might be an option at 44, but you got to move him inside. You're taking a chance with him. He's never played guard, but he did pretty well at the Senior Bowl playing guard. But he's a little bit of an unknown guy. People already don't know that much about him, but he's a pretty good player. Christian Haynes is very impressive, though. Very impressive player from Connecticut. He is a mauler. He's a beast on film. I think he's a little bit of issues in pass protection with him, but Haynes is pretty damn good. But those are two guys. Like if Haynes is a third round, Puny might kind of fall in that area too, because the guards aren't going to be that. There's so many good guards in this draft that there's not going to be a run on them, and people are going to wait. That's what I kind of feel that that's going to happen with them. But those are two guys there. Dominic Puny, you probably never even heard of these guys, Glenn. I don't know how you.
I do not know much about them. Like I will say that much. I've heard their names mentioned before, but I couldn't tell you my take on them.
Okay, all right. So I see someone giving me a preview here, and Mahogany. You got this that's some good foreshadowing there, my dude, because that is the ultimate fit at guard for this team. Is Christian Mahogany from Boston College, 6'3", 314, 33.5-inch arms, got the big old hands. He loves some big hands. It's the vert too, 32.5 at 314, and pretty good broad. Christian Mahogany is a monster. He's angry. I don't know what happened to him as a kid, but he's an angry man. That's the best way I could describe him on film. He doesn't like people. He doesn't like he's low-key dirty, which is kind of Raiderish. You know what I mean? He's low-key dirty. He is. He's just a mean guy, very mean. Doesn't like people, and that's why I kind of like my linemen like that. But I mean, the scheme-wise though, they're more of a power scheme at Boston College. But I think he has the athleticism to run zone. I might be wrong about that with Boston College. I didn't have any too much of Boston College film right yet. I'm trying to find some, so I only really watched them on broadcast. But man, that is a fit. This dude is a monster. Glenn, I'm just gonna let you know that he would be.
I've actually seen this guy play before, and I just remember watching just some college football, and they were like highlighting him, and there because the name. How do you forget that name, Christian Mahogany? That sounds like something out of like Boogie Nights or something. Like he's got that name, and it stuck with me. And he was, I mean, Boston College is ass. Like you know what I mean? Like they're bad. So like when they have a good guard, that's like who the broadcast has to highlight. And he was the guy.
Yeah. I mean, somebody asked, are we not getting a peak? I mean, guys, we're just do scenarios. We probably might get a quarterback. I mean, they need a quarterback, so probably
they're probably gonna take one at some point.
Yeah. So Mahogany is a big one. I saw somebody talk about Cooper Beebe, and you would be correct because Cooper Beebe is another one. Cooper Beebe is another fit. This is another guy that they're really gonna like. Is Beebe. Beebe is very athletic, hits all the athleticism. It's more about the hand size with him. But like I said, there's times when he's gone on lower hand size if they hit these, right? So if you have the athleticism, he might deal with the hand size and the arms, right? But this is a guard too. I'm not gonna get too crazy about arms with guards, but
right.
BB has awesome tape. He has a game against Byron Murphy, which we were, showing right here, which he handled Byron Murphy really well. So Cooper Beebe is another fit. That's a really guy I really like that could come in and play well. Beebe, he did so well. He skipped the Senior Bowl. I was pretty shocked by that, but he decided I ain't got to play the Senior Bowl. And he's a baller, man. Cooper Beebe is a damn good guard. He doesn't get talked about enough. It's gonna be interesting to see where he goes. How if the NFL's higher on him than the buzz around him, So yeah, he's a stud, man, for sure, dude.
But I think at 44 is where you try to maybe find him if you got to move up a couple spots, like how they did for Maye last year. Like that, I wouldn't hate that. If especially like what if they go tackle guard rounds 1 and 2? Do you hate it? I don't.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Sorry, say it again, bro. Sorry.
If they go tackle guard 1 and 2, 13 and 44, do you hate that? I don't.
I mean, I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate it. I don't know. I am kind of on the side of they got to get a quarterback at some point.
Yeah.
So, and I'd rather than get him early. So it wouldn't bother me like deep down. It wouldn't bother me because they need, if they are going to roll with the quarterbacks, they're going to roll with.
But that's what I mean,
they need
right?
offensive line.
Yeah, you're rolling with Aiden O'Connell. Wouldn't you want like to build a bully, young, cheap offensive line out of that? Like,
yeah,
that's what I mean. Like. I want them to chase a quarterback too. I think they're at a weird spot in the draft. So to do that. So what I mean is like, why not just beef? It seems like a trenches draft for the most part. So like, why not just play into that?
Yeah. It's a good point with Mahogany. You got to give him at 77. I don't, Mahogany has been buzzing. I think you could get him at 77 too. Maybe you don't have to wait, but I'm gonna tell you, Van Pran, he didn't hit anything, and I'm not sure who Coleman is. So, who's Coleman? Because there's some other guys that were secret guys that, like Caden Wallace was one of them.
Right.
He was the other one. So, but Mahogany's a damn good player. I think BB at 44 would be a great pick. So, I mean, both these guys are great. And then the last one was Jackson Powers Johnson. He's the last kind of fit there. The broad is kind of smaller, but one thing that was funny about Telesco is he takes bench press with linemen serious. Like, that is no joke with him. You got to be at least at the 30s with the bench press. And I think Jackson Powers Johnson is another guy, but I don't think they're gonna. That goes back into the trade back scenario where you do, even though Tom Telesco's never traded back. But hey, I mean, this is what we do on the show. We're just gonna do some scenarios, guys. So with that though, I think that he could be a guy at 44 that they really like.
Yeah, that's crazy because Telesco does not look like he can bench at all. So it's like when you look at him, like I'm saying that as a guy who doesn't favor the bench press. I'm a little more free weight guy myself, but yeah. So that's all I'm saying. I just laugh. Like, he's probably like, man, you got to bench, even though I'm not like Dan Campbell looking guy, like,
yeah.
But yeah, JPJ, I saw some discourse in the comment section about not taking a guard at 13. Like, it's not worth it. Doesn't do it, or whatever, right? Guard, center, anything. Look, I don't mind interior O-line. I understand the fact that they're not like the most impactful on wins and losses. But if you are in a weird spot, kind of a disaster scenario, which we're going to get to, if that's your best player, you got to take the guy that you like the most.
Yeah. But and guys, I'm just looking at the fits because I mean, he's really the only center that fit. So you guys might be right. I mean, that's probably why they brought back Andre James, to be honest. And he's only on a 1-year contract technically. So if you keep it real, guys, he's only on a 1-year contract.
And if you had a guard where if you got sick of Andre James at some point and you had a guard playing next to him the whole time, that could switch to center if need be and play damn good. It's not bad flexibility to have on the O-line.
Yeah, man. So those kind of the O-line fits. I thought that was interesting.
No Graham Barton, huh?
No Graham.
Man. All right, that's all right. I like Cooper Beebe.
They met with Graham Barton though. Graham Barton just didn't do any athletic testing, so maybe at his pro day you might mix that up. Maybe they like Graham Barton.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting one though. But Graham Barton was listed as a center too. I didn't know he's good. People think he's going to be a center, and he has short arms. He has some short ass arms, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, he has some short ass arms. Yeah, no Graham Barton, guys. No Graham Barton. But yeah. All right, so what we got up next? We're doing trade back scenarios here. All right, Glenn, you're gonna get the people riled up with this one here. I know I got Bo Nick's picture here. All right. So set up your scenario here. Set up your scenario.
Okay, so let's look at the NFL draft, right? So I think no Raider fan has factored this in at this point, and it's fair to say because Tom Telesco stays where he's at a lot of times in the first round, and I anticipate them probably staying at 13. But let's just say that they trade back, right? The Raiders want to trade back. I see a team that lost a Hall of Fame defensive tackle. His name's Aaron Donald. You might have heard of him. That's my dad's team. I know a lot about the Rams. I hear about the Rams all the time. I complain about him about the Raiders. He complains about the Rams. Yeah. So whatever, but they won. So I'm like, shut up, sometimes. But anyways, Aaron Donald retired. That's a huge hole. Their defense runs on Aaron Donald. I could see a scenario where the Rams want to trade up just a couple spots. Pick 13 sounds like a good one. If I'm less need, the Rams are an aggressive team. They are aggressive, and they haven't had a first round pick in years. So I think they might want to get up with that one. They have Kobe Turner on the defensive line, but they might want to get another defensive tackle, or something else, right? They might want to trade up. A team like the Raiders is a good one. So I think if you were to trade back, you probably get a third round pick. I would say. I don't know what the Jimmy Johnson trade chart says about 19 to 13. I'd say about a third rounder. I don't know if it's worth a second, but who knows? And let's say they want a Byron Murphy or Jerzon Newton, one of those guys that they just want to really hone in on to anchor down their defense to pair with Kobe Turner, who had a really nice rookie year for them. What do the Raiders do at pick 19? Knowing that they have an extra day 2 pick, let's just say an extra day 2 pick. We don't know yet. For me, I start looking. I still see what tackles there at 19. But do you start thinking about a Michael Penix at 19? Right. So you have an extra third round pick, an extra second round pick, but then it's weird how optical of an illusion it is, right? You might say, Penix, that's too rich for my blood at 13, but I'm at 19 and I have an extra pick. Do I pull the trigger? Do you pull? So I asked people in the comment section here, do you pull the trigger on a Penix, Bo Nix, whoever that second wave of quarterbacks is behind JJ McCarthy? Do you pull the trigger on that, or do you take perhaps I don't know, a Guyton, JC Latham, Marius Mims, Quinyon Mitchell? You have a lot of choices there if the Rams decide to get aggressive. I personally take that trade because I think it gives you more flexibility to take that second tier of quarterback, and perhaps you get Penix on a 5-year deal, and then you have the opportunity to add a day 2 receiver, maybe day 2 lineman. I like it.
So I got the Jimmy Johnson draft chart up here.
Yeah. So what do you think the Raiders would get for?
So they have to get 19, right? So their value for 13 is 1,150. So they would get 875. They would have to get at least the Rams first, so it was 875. Then 175. They have to get their third.
Okay,
right.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The third.
Right, and then probably like a fourth. So like their third and their fourth, and they can move up. So we get first, and they switch, and they get their third and their fourth. That would equal up to the.
If you missed, right? If you missed on the first wave of quarterbacks, why do you not take that deal? Right? You know what I'm saying?
I would take it.
Yeah, exactly. Look, again, we're just guessing. We're having fun. It's March. Like but the phone will ring. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what do you take, right? There's a Michael Penix, right? You have if the Rams, let's just say these guys are on the board. This is kind of that back end of the first round. Troy Fontenot, right? He's starting to creep up for me a little bit. Kool-Aid McKinstry. Kool-Aid McKinstry ran a 4.47, and Marcus said he had good tape.
He does.
Cooper DeJean, who is a stud. I think Cooper DeJean's a stud.
He is. He's pretty good.
He's good. It's a weird position for the Raiders. I don't know that he's an outside corner. And what do you do if you're gonna pay Nate Hobbs? Do you get Cooper DeJean? Do you want safety flexibility with him? Perhaps it's an interesting conversation. And then Penix. Penix is the guy, right? And then you have Bo Nix pictured. So let's just say he's there. Between those guys, what do you do?
Yeah. See, this one's tough to me because I think with Penix, they need to figure out where he's going to go. I think they need to do their research, and they got to have an idea who likes him. They need to find that out, which what a lot of these NFL teams can do. They need to figure out who likes Michael Penix. Where do they like him? I mean, Seattle is the easy one, but I think that seems like the easiest thing. But that guy's offense is not going to be the same as it was in college. So Let's start there, right? So Seahawks, it seems like the easiest one. There's
Yeah.
some other places. They got to figure out where he goes.
Could be
Okay.
another team trading up too. You know what I mean? Like I could see a team like going, "Oh, he's gonna fall. I'm gonna mortgage it all and get back into the first round." You know?
And with the thing with Michael Penix too, he hasn't had his pro day yet.
Yeah,
I think,
and I don't know that I chase him that hard.
yeah.
I like okay, if I trade back and Penix is there, okay, I think about it. But I don't like I have to get Michael Penix. It's weird, man. Like I don't think he's like some franchise changer, but I do think if I have the opportunity to build and have a pretty good roster and insert a big arm quarterback in there, it's enticing. I don't know that I like have to get him. So if somebody says I traded out of Michael Penix, I don't view that as a huge loss. It's just like, well, whatever. I traded out of
And I don't know if
QB5.
that's true or not. I mean,
We don't know.
we
Yeah,
don't know if that's
exactly.
true.
We don't know how many. There's a few openings, but I think a lot of teams have to beat.
Like, where are you getting that information from? Who's telling you that? You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
DJ, right? DJ did have him at 13 to the Raiders. So let's say that there is buzz in the top 15.
in that situation, though, he did say everybody's assuming he's going to go in the second round.
Oh, okay.
Right. So he did say that, and that when you read the article, he said DJ basically said he was reaching because he said the Raiders need a quarterback. So I'm going to take Michael Penix here because I think the Raiders are going to do it. So yeah, if the Raiders like him and they want to take him at 13, that's fine. But there's, in my opinion, just based on the Senior Bowl performance, the everything that happened, the way he looked in practice at the Senior Bowl, the way he, his injury history, I would be a little surprised if he went that high.
That's what I mean. Like I don't. Like,
I would be surprised.
Yeah, I'd be
and,
a little.
And I know. Sorry, Glenn.
No, I'd just be like if the Raiders took him at like 13, I'd be like, whoa. You know, like it'd be like that's high to take him. Like that, you think he's going to change the franchise and like you think you're going to be able to display him outside the stadium as a promotion at that point, and I just don't see that with him.
Yeah, because even like with some of the scouts that you see, and when they're grading these quarterbacks, and you see these guys do these anonymous things, he always ends up sixth. So that's the thing. Like he always ends up behind Nix and McCarthy. He always ends up behind them when scouts these anonymous scouts get interviewed. So that's why it kind of plays into that too. With that, I could be wrong. I'm not gonna say that I don't know exactly what team likes it. All it takes is one team. That's all it takes, right?
It does.
It doesn't take, what I say. I could be wrong. I'm not going to be like, oh, he's for sure not going to go at 13, or he's for sure not going to go in the first round. I'm not going to do that because it could happen. He has a big arm, right? And once guys with big arms, that happens. But the injury history and some of those things that can play into it, and kind of the buzz right now is that he's not going to go in the first round. Daniel Jeremiah was the first person that put him in there, right? That he really kind of showed that maybe he's trying to kind of growing on him a little bit. But but the big thing with Penix too, like I said, he hasn't had his pro day. And I think how many Raiders coaches, because we haven't seen Tom Telesco hasn't got up yet. Luke Getsy hasn't got up yet. Right. They've been sending Rich everywhere. They've been sending the quarterback coach. He was at JJ McCarthy. He was at Bo Nix, who I got up here. So I don't even know if they're at Caleb Williams. I didn't think they went to Caleb Williams. I think they're at Alabama instead. So they kind of ignore Caleb, and I think their outlook on Penix is gonna really tell us what happens. It really means a bigger risk not to see. I think some of you guys are just want to take any quarterback, and then if he doesn't work out, you're going to be.
That's what I mean. Like I don't want to be in. Yeah, I don't want to be in. We have to have a quarterback. If you might, but you don't need to reach. Like I don't.
Yeah. So sorry. I just want to say, if you guys want the quarterback that bad, you guys better not yell at him at all. I need some patience. I need mad patience with the rookie. I don't want you guys getting all mad at him. I don't want you guys telling that he's a bust after 3 games. I don't want you guys saying that I'm making excuses for him when he misses a guy. I don't want any of that. I want some patience.
They're gonna be no. Here's the problem. They're gonna be stands for him, right? It's gonna be like, because they wanted him so bad, they're gonna like really push the agenda, even if it's not looking good. But look, whatever. I'm not against him being a Raider. I don't feel like I have to leave the first round with him no matter what. One last guy I just wanted you to comment on, because we've talked about Fontenot, we've talked about Cooper DeJean a little bit, and we've talked about Penix. Kool-Aid McKinstry, like, you like him. I don't. I've heard him kind of falling a little bit. So if at 19, you're okay?
Honestly, yeah.
Okay. No, it's fine. I wouldn't have a super big take. I'm always scared of the 1A, 1B corner tandems in college because I feel like a lot of times both of them stink when you draft them, like Okudah and Arnett and like those other, like, I'm always scared of that. But I do like Terrion Arnold, so I'm like, but McKinstry was so high on he seemed like a guy that was mock top 10 everywhere at the, in those super early ones, and now he's fallen a little bit. So sometimes that tends to be like prospect fatigue. So maybe he's a little bit better than his stock is right now.
Yeah, because the thing is with Kool-Aid is he didn't get thrown at.
Okay.
They threw at Arnold. And Arnold balls when they threw at him. He just knocked everything down, was picking everything, and he balls, but he got all the targets though too. They didn't throw at Kool-Aid this year. So Kool-Aid is just perfectly in somebody's hip, just nobody throwing to him, making tackles, being bored on the other side, and now we don't like him because I bet he got beat once after he was bored or something. It reminded me of Stingley a little bit.
Okay.
Stingley had just had his pro day looked like a robot, so that's why he still went top 5. But that's what it reminded me of. It reminded me of that.
Okay, I just wanted your take. I just wanted your take. That was the one. That was the guy. The one person we hadn't really talked about.
Yeah. Penix is off the board at 6. Like, where is Rob R getting this information? I just want to know where he's getting this information, man. He's just so positive.
He's a Husky fan. He's probably a Husky fan. It's okay. I mean, no, I get it. I'm an alt. I'm a big Joe alt. Like my guys. I'm a Golden Domer.
Yeah. So an interesting conversation besides Penix, though, I want to talk about, because I want to talk about Drake Maye falling, which is because we got to get Penix at 13, but there's a secret man.
You think that there's a chance that Drake Maye falls outside of the top 10 picks in the NFL draft, Marcus?
I am not saying that. But I'm saying he falls to the point where the Raiders are like,
can move up.
Do they trade up? Let's say, okay, so let's play some scenarios here. This is the show. We're doing scenarios, draft scenarios. So Drake Maye, you read it. I talk about this a lot. Read the Patriots beat wire stuff. If you guys go and you do something today, go read what the Patriots are doing, because that can kind of tell us what's going to happen, what they're going to do. And they're not big fans of Drake Maye. He grew on them at the combine, but I think they might take that chance to trade back. Now, the NFL really likes JJ McCarthy too.
Oh yeah.
I saw this thing by Tannenbaum. I ended up deleting the tweet because it wasn't the same play, but I saw this thing by Mike Tannenbaum. He was like pointing out like a 4-yard pass, and everybody's freaking out on him, right? If he could do this, But like, I was watching the Kurt Warner breakdown, and Kurt Warner was like pointing out the same thing with Jaden Daniels and how he reads something, but JJ McCarthy reads it like how the NFL does. So those are like just those small, stupid things that we don't even think about, right? NFL teams are gonna like about JJ McCarthy. It's like the little small stupid stuff. We're all looking for the big highlight throw. That's all you see online is highlight. And the NFL coach, oh my God, look at them get to the flat that quick. You know what I mean? It's just, and we're all like, that looks stupid. Yeah. But the NFL coaches are salivating, like, oh my God, how quick did he get to the flat? You know what I mean? And so it's those little stupid things that we don't think about with quarterbacking that, like, you don't see on Twitter. Right. Like, nobody's going to show you a guy getting to the flat and being like, we really like that.
That's a tough thing to teach.
Yeah.
To take what he took and the way he read that play. It's really tough. Coaches love seeing a thing on tape that it's like really tough to teach somebody, and then they feel like they can fill in the blanks elsewhere.
Yeah. It is that I don't know. It's just those small things, and I really didn't think about it. I watched the Kurt Warner breakdown, and then I saw Mike Tannenbaum's post, and I was like, you know what? Those things just go together, right? It's just those small things, because like Jaden Daniels is reading it inside out, McCarthy's reading it like the NFL does, and it's just those little simple things is why they love JJ, right? So and that's why those simple things that Drake Maye doesn't do. And he has a little bit of, his feet move a lot. Well, he's in the pocket. He might kind of start to fall. And I think it's somebody Tom Telesco would like, though, is Drake Maye. Because I'll never forget when he was at the combine, he talked about how they had tape ready for him. I thought that was the most interesting thing. None of the other quarterbacks guys said that. They had his good plays and his bad plays cut up. Like Tom Telesco was watching him cut up his plays, and I wanted to ask you about these things. So, I mean, we hear about Jaden Daniels, but maybe they have a feeling, or they're hearing that Drake Maye might fall to them, and they trade up for him. And I don't know how. I mean, I wouldn't mind it. But
no, you got a big arm quarterback that can move around a little bit. Let's go. We'll figure it out if it doesn't work. But he's a big, strong kid that can throw the ball.
Yeah,
there's flaws. There's flaws. That's why he fell.
Yeah, and he's 21.
Yeah,
he's 21. Yeah, he's 21, and just my thing is just I'm not a big redshirt sophomore guy either. Like, they really don't work out. I know CJ Stroud came out, but he's like the first one ever. Johnny Manziel, Jameis Winston, Sam Darnold. We all see how those guys kind of went. I know people love Jameis, but so Drake falling isn't a smokescreen. I don't think it is, man. I really don't. I don't think it is, because it's more about, because he's so big on Twitter. It's hard not to believe it's a smokescreen, because he's probably the most popular quarterback from the draft Twitter guys is Drake Maye, right? So if you're on Twitter and that's all you see, it's hard to believe it. Like the Brett Colemans, the whatever, the Ringer guys, Nate Tice, all those guys, they love Drake Maye.
Who's the backup quarterback? Chase Daniel goes crazy for Drake Maye.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Everybody loves Drake Maye from that standpoint, but you go watch Kurt Warner break down Drake Maye, right? And then, because that can kind of tell you a little bit of things about what
Kurt is a beast, man.
Yeah, I watch.
Kurt's one of the best. I love him as a broad. He does radio for Monday Night Football a lot of times, and when I'm on the way home from work, I'm like, God, Kurt should be like broadcaster one, like on like a TV network. Like, he's so good. Like, yeah. No, I love his channel too.
So, see, the Vikings might be in on Maye too. I mean, just because Josh McCown, that's a good point. But I tell you, man, JJ throws a great flat route, man, on the West Coast offense.
No, I totally
that's this guy say, I don't get the JJ McCarthy love affair, and that's what it is. It's like it's still simple, stupid things.
I think I get it. He looks like he there's certain things that he's a little reckless with, and like there were certain things we didn't get to see. We didn't see him come back down, 20 points, and he just went crazy. Like, we didn't see that, but I think he does a lot of, like, NFL teams are like, I'm going to build a winner around JJ McCarthy. Can he save the lead? And like, the answer is yeah, probably. If you watch his college film, like, he doesn't blow a lot of leads. Like, and we've seen Raiders quarterbacks that cannot keep a lead. We've seen it. Like, certain guys have it, certain guys don't. I like JJ McCarthy, and I'm fine if he's a Raider. I understand why people are like, why is this guy rising up draft boards? But what if JJ McCarthy gets taken before Drake Maye? I don't think that's that out of this world to say that JJ McCarthy is quarterback 3 in this draft as it actually happens.
Yeah, it's because I agree with Diego. It is a lot of projection, but it's just
agreed.
To be honest, it was that Kurt Warner breakdown, and then seeing Mike Tannenbaum talk about the same thing, and those are two. One guy played in the NFL really well, and the other was, not saying he's a great GM, but he was an NFL GM. I mean, let's keep it real. And he has an NFL scouting mind. Okay,
exactly.
Yeah. He's right. I think JJ McCarthy's Alex Smith. I feel like they're like the coming out. Alex Smith could run.
You can build a good solid winning team around Alex Smith. Like, I don't even think that's wrong. And Alex Smith got taken number 1 overall.
He did.
So, like, teams value it. I think Marcus is correct.
Yeah. All right. Last thing we'll talk about here is, for some reason, we're scouting D linemen a lot, and we just signed Christian Wilkins.
Yeah, I love this topic so much.
And also, Mighty Pockets, I appreciate this, man. I even I would know about that. But.
No, the thing is like, agreed. I've known Marcus before this channel started, and I knew I saw a star I saw a star. I knew this guy knew what he was doing, and he was fun and knew how to have fun with it and everything. Kurt Warner just needs to come on Tape Don't Lie. That's
man.
That's all, dude. If you get Kurt Warner, dude, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like you could totally get Kurt Warner. I think you can.
We'll hunt him.
We'll hunt him down, dude.
We'll hunt down Kurt. We'll hunt down Kurt here.
If the Raiders draft a quarterback, you'd be like, Kurt, I gotta have you on the channel to talk about my quarterback. Yeah. Michael Penix. I have no idea, Kurt. Come on, like just he'd do it, dude. For like, you get like 20 minutes out of him, no problem.
Yeah, a little bit. Do some breakdowns, man. Study ball.
He loves ball, dude. He loves ball. He'll come talk ball for sure.
For sure, man. So D-line, they let's talk about this, okay? Because AP was at UCLA. Then this whole buzz, it was Latu time. Latu buzz was everywhere. Okay, everywhere. There's buzz everywhere for Latu because he was there. We don't know. There may be some other players from UCLA that he was watching. Okay. So Brendan Fisk today, the Raiders D-line coach, was there personally. Okay. The Raiders sent their D-line coach to go watch probably Jared Verse too. Let's keep it real.
Yeah. Okay.
They probably went to go watch Jared Verse.
Yeah.
Right. And they got Brendan Fisk, who was balding. Balding. He is balding too, actually. But he is balding.
Does Tom Telesco value the balding?
Maybe, man. Maybe he does.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, maybe. Sure. But he had a great combine. He's had a great off season. Crazy motor, which I see. Yeah, he has a crazy motor. So, I think that if they draft a defensive lineman earlier than people think, I think people are going to be pissed about that. I feel like this.
I can't wait.
Because I like Darius Robinson too, and Darius Robinson's a monster on film.
His combine was awful though. Like, do you not factor that in at all? Like, he ran a 4.95.
Yeah, it was bad.
Like, because I agree with you. You were right. Like, I think I watched him a little bit after you brought him up on one of the streams we did, and I watched him. I'm like, man, this guy's good. And the tape doesn't lie. I get it. Mm-hmm. But like 4.9, like those were alarming numbers that he put up. Maybe he's just not a workout guy, but he should fall for that. Like, I feel like.
Yeah, he'll fall for that because he's a tweener too. So since he's a tweener, is he defensive tackle? Is defensive end? And then you ran 4.95. Yeah, he has a chance to be there at 77. But that's the type of guy because you could put some weight on him and he could play inside, bro. He's strong. Yeah, this is what I got. This is what I got on Twitter. We just signed that guy.
Derek clued in. Derek's got it. No, you're right. Here's the thing about the draft. What fans don't realize, fans all year hear about what their team needs. The Raiders don't have this for the 2024 season. When you draft, you need to be thinking about a 3 to 4 year plan with whoever you draft, especially in the first round. So if you see a guy, let's just say that Latu is your guy. Like, you're just like, I see a star in this defensive end. And he's got questions with medical. I think if his medical was just nothing, I think he'd be top 10. The Raiders wouldn't even have a chance at him because he is very good. Yeah. And Crosby loves him. He models his game after Crosby. Like, there's all sorts of connections. Also, Samoan? Tonga?
Yeah, he's
I don't know. Look, we're just starting to think about things.
I mean, they drafted Tuli. He drafted Tuli last year too.
I'm just saying, dude.
It's a lot of Samoans.
That's just like this is the biggest development of the night for me personally. But anyways, as a guy who worked in East Palo Alto for a while, those are my guys. I love those dudes. But the what I'm saying is like, if you say like, okay, I see a star. I see an absolute star. The league values it. It's on everyone's consensus board. And then I also see a need that I could fill, but I don't like that guy as much. What do you do? That's the eternal question of the draft is, do I value best player available? Because I will say the Raiders right now maybe don't have a need at defensive end that they need to address high in the draft. Can you say 2 years from now that the Raiders won't have a need at defensive end? You're lying. If you think that, you're lying if you know the answer to that question, because that's what you're drafting for when you draft in the first round, is that you need the best players available. It'll annoy your fan base. Here's my case in point. My dad, big Rams fan. I did the trade scenario and everything. In 2014, the Raiders had taken Khalil Mack. It was one of the first times in a while that I just like, oh, wow, my team just crushed the draft. 2014 draft. So then at a little bit later in the first round, my dad is sad about the Rams draft pick, which was Aaron Donald. He's going, dude, we got Michael Brockers. We got Kendall Langford. These guys are good players. No, I'm not making fun. These are good players. Robert Quinn, we're killing it right now. He's like, we don't need that. This is Jeff Fisher bullshit is what's happening. Jeff Fisher wants just all these defensive players. And if you look at the Rams drafts under Jeff Fisher, they were actually really good. But regardless, they didn't need Aaron Donald.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who transformed that franchise? And guess who was look, it's not always that great, but you always need to add great players to your team. Mm-hmm. You don't always need to fill needs in the draft. That's what free agency is for.
Exactly. Yeah, and having a great D line that with rotation, like I said, it keeps Max Crosby fresh because Max Crosby, if we can get him down to what Christian Wilkins played, which is 850 snaps, we can go from 958 to 850. We don't got to go down to because Myles Garrett plays like 500 snaps. That's why I always laugh about how his win rate, bro. Like he doesn't he is fresh all the time, so he's gonna have a high win rate. Michael Parsons too. 500 pass rusher snaps. These guys don't play like Crosby does, right? So we can get Crosby from 950 down to 850, right? I mean, that's kind of the goal I think they have. We want to get him down to a little bit more. Like we have Tyree Wilson and Malcolm Kuntz out there a little bit. Or if they go that route with Latu, I'm not saying they are guys, but if they do, then you have Latu and then you have Wilson, and you just mix it up, right? Or maybe move Crosby inside at one point, or and mix it up with that way. So there's so many things you could do if you get creative. Because you could move Max inside on certain downs. I mean, he played linebacker a couple of times. He was standing up against the Chiefs. He was playing linebacker. There's so many things you could do with Max because he's so damn athletic.
He's a fucking Hall of Famer. That's like you have a Hall of Famer. You can do whatever you want with Max Crosby. I mean, I don't really want to see him in coverage too much, but like as far as like playing at the line of scrimmage, Max Crosby is the best player in the NFL at the line of scrimmage right now. I'm Aaron Donald retired, so it's actually Max. So what if you had a defensive line where you had, a Fisk or any of these guys that like you might take over a quote unquote need that you as a fan have decided is a need of the team. If you have a chance to add, Latu, Jared Verse, they were at the Florida State Pro Day. Jared Verse, if they pick Jared Verse at 13, Twitter will be on fire, but the Raiders will add a good defensive end, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If that happens. And you're building around a creative defensive coordinator and a head coach that can get the best out of players that we think can get the best out of guys that fit the identity of the team. And if Jared Verse is balling and you love Jared Verse and they take him at 13, I will understand that there are holes on this team, but every team has holes. The Chiefs have a hole at cornerback right now and they just won the Super Bowl. So you will have the ability to add greatness to something that's already great. And let's not forget about the team that Antonio Pierce won the Super Bowl with. What was their defensive line like? Crazy.
Yeah. Because that's the thing. I really do feel like they want to keep Crosby fresh. Not keep him fresh, but because he doesn't need to be like when it goes down to 700 snaps. I'm just talking about we just get 800, right? He still would have the most snaps of a defensive end. I mean, be hidden in Aiden Hutchinson, right? And Nick Bosa had that many snaps. I mean, Nick Bosa had a higher win rate. But I think if Big Bosa played 100 more snaps than Crosby, that win rate goes down. So you just keep him fresh, keep him coming out after the quarterback a little bit more, and then you can rotate these guys, and it will work out that way. But we'll see what they do, man. We'll see what they do.
What if you had the ability to add a good player to your team while also making Max Crosby more explosive? Yeah. Like, what if you had that ability? And I think they did that with Christian Wilkins, but like build off that. You're trying to beat Patrick Mahomes, which everyone thinks you do that with a quarterback. I still think you do that with the defensive line. I'm not gonna lie. I saw all the big games Patrick Mahomes has lost. A defense has thwarted him.
I mean, they didn't complete a pass in the second half last year. They won,
right? And you're just talking about losing to the Bengals. Lou Anarumo really killed him in the second half when the Bengals went to the Super Bowl that year in the AFC Championship game. Tampa Bay Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes got destroyed by that defensive line. Think about it.
Yeah. Lou was rushing 3 too. That's what's crazy part. He was, that dude was mixing it up.
He was. No, I mean, they played great defense. I'm just saying, like, you want to have the ability to make. I still think you need to beat him with a good defense.
We got our first TDL baby announcement. I like this. We got a naming our daughter Autumn Wind.
Autumn Wind.
I like that name, bro.
This is what stops the curse of the Raiders.
The birth of Autumn Wind, bro.
Absolutely, congratulations to you. Wonderful name, and may she watch nothing but Raiders victories.
100%, man. All right, I saw some good questions here. People talk about Newton versus Murphy. I think the reason why Newton's falling is he's not very good against the run. I mean, you could go watch my Tyrone Tracy breakdown. That's what I would say about that.
There you go.
Go watch that and see how far back Newton's getting pushed back by some guy from Purdue. That I don't even know if he's getting drafted or not. So that's his problem, is that he's not very good against the run. He can rush the hell out of a passer, though. You can.
Yeah.
Murphy's a little better than him against the run. That's probably what separates them. I think he might be actually a better pass rusher than Murphy, but from a all-around defensive tackle standpoint, that's why he's falling, because he's basically Christian Barmore. Christian Barmore went in the second round, I believe.
Yeah, early second, but
early second. But that's because Christian Barmore was the same way, getting pushed back in the run, and then it kind of comes out later on. You know, he plays. He gets better, and in year 3 he has 9 sacks. So
Agreed.
That's kind of how you want to look at it. So maybe you could maybe get Newton at a good spot if he keeps falling.
And you look at the guy like Kalijah Kancey, who started out getting washed out in the run with Tampa Bay, but Kalijah Kancey out of Pitt last year, he towards the end of the year became really disruptive for that Tampa defense down the stretch. I think those guys are going to run at you. That's why it's like pitching in baseball. Like, you cannot have enough defensive linemen. Truly, to me, like the Eagles go 8 deep. You know what I mean? They'll still add one more. They don't care.
Yeah.
So, like, the Raiders, to me, I think they have a good defensive line. I'd even say it has potential to be a great defensive line. Why not add a young, cheap option there if you like him more than perhaps the corner or right tackle that the fan base might want you to take to fill a need?
Yeah, for sure. He's asking, any chances we sign Xavier Howard?
I saw he's Texans are his hometown team. I'm a little scared of that. I like Xavier Howard, and I'd take him easily right now. It shouldn't be too expensive. He's probably going for a 1 year at this point.
It is just the Raiders play so much zone. That's why I'm worried about if they really like Xavier Howard, because he's
Has Adoree Jackson signed yet?
Uh-uh.
Yeah, come on, just bring him in. Like, I'll feel so much better about this team, especially reuniting him with Patrick Graham. I saw one question. I don't know if you saw it up there about Marvin Harrison falling to 13. I think they're testing our BPA. Yes, I take Marvin Harrison at 13.
They better.
I what?
They better, bro. They better.
Come on. That's what I'm saying. I am BPA, best player available. If I see a Hall of Famer, or no, I'm not saying Hall of Famer, All Pro, right? I feel like some people don't like that I use that term. But if I get it. The way teams draft, they go, that guy right there, that's my guy for years to come. You know, if I see that guy, go get him. You have to trust the organization that's running your team. I know the Raider fans are not used to that, right? We're not used to that, but you have to trust them to say, this is my guy, I'm going to take him.
Yeah. Because Xavier Howard is more of a man guy. That's why I would be like, the Raiders don't play a lot of man, but maybe he makes them do that. But I don't know how much I trust Jack Jones in man coverage.
No, I agree.
Pure man, right? I like Jack Jones roaming and
jumping,
making plays. Yeah, using his instincts. In zone coverage. So I think he's just a better fit there.
And then you have that active defensive line to allow you to like make that a disruptive thing, let guys jump and roam.
Yeah, and Patrick Graham's smart. We got Gus Bradley DBs here, guys. We're really still a Gus Bradley team.
Yeah.
So he was like, I'm gonna play cover 3. They played 38% of the time last year. Like that. That's what we have. We still have Gus Bradley's defense.
Agreed.
So we're gonna play a lot more zone and mix it up that way, because that's how you get the most out of Hobbs. That's how you get the most out of Diablo. Those guys were fits for Gus Bradley. So we still have those defensive guys here, and that's a good thing that Patrick Graham has done. Is he tried to do a system first, but I think when Josh McDaniels went out the window, I think Antonio Pierce is like, hey, these are Gus Bradley guys. So, let's do some cover 3. Let's mix it up here. There's another question here. So Travis Pratt. I'm gonna do who's Harris. I don't know who that is.
That I don't know. Yeah, Jordan Travis versus Michael Pratt. Yeah, a lot of people love Jordan Travis. I'm excited to see your breakdown.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that for sure. This is the one. Any room on this team for Jamal Adams? Wash, not worth a headache. Yeah, I mean, are we blitzing him?
Well, what I mean is like, so the thing is with the Jamal Adams, his stock is not high in the NFL right now. We all saw him in college. I remember in college, I was like, this is a dominant player. And if I could get him for a 1-year deal, and because I wanted Jeremy Chin in free agency, I think Jamal Adams can do the Jeremy Chin role. I just know Seattle might not have traded for him to do that role. When they traded those picks for him, they traded 2 first-round picks for him. That was one of the craziest trades of the last couple of years that doesn't get talked about. But if the Raiders are like, all right, come to camp for $2.5-3 million, what do you want to do?
Yeah,
like that's something I would think about, because that dude still can play. Like he's still a good ball player. I buy low. That's an Al Davis play right there. I like it.
I guess I mean looking up who Michael Harris is. Who's that? I mean looking up stuff.
He's the Samford Bulldog. Is that what?
Oh, he's from Sanford. Oh,
Stanford.
Oh, what interesting.
Okay, Marcus.
That's a deep dive. Everybody get Sanford tape from.
That's a degenerate gambler right there that found that one. What about the guy from Sanford?
Oh man, because there's also Gus Bradley's son, Carter Bradley. He actually had a damn good Senior Bowl. I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah,
Carter Bradley had a pretty good Senior Bowl.
quarterback name I've ever heard in my life. Carter
Bradley.
I
know. And he actually, you can watch his film. His film's not that bad, man. His film's not that bad.
And that's a backup quarterback. You're like, his film's not bad.
Exactly.
He's gonna play 10 years as a backup in the league.
He's not that bad, man. He's not that bad. His film's not
one thing the Raiders need is another backup quarterback. That's one thing we need.
Right, man, for sure. What else we got here, man? Any other questions? Missing here.
Audric Estime ran a 4.58, by the way, at his pro
Carson
day.
Steele. You guys are deep diving on me, man. I got to get more. Maybe feel like I'm not working hard enough. You guys are hitting me, man, with these late round guys, man. I gotta get more into it, man.
The fan base, you've made a.
I gotta get way
the fan base
50s here.
They're beating you to the punch.
Oh man. So let's see here, guys. Yeah, man. I think that's it, guys, for today. We got up to 200 today. I really appreciate you guys coming in and asking a lot of questions. We got a lot of questions today. A lot of interactions. I appreciate you guys interacting in the chat. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We got a first baby announcement. We learned about the Samoans.
Amazing.
We learned a lot of things. We learned a lot of things today, guys. A lot of
the Samoan thing. I am going to chart that. That will be my charting. How you chart quarterbacks. I'm going to chart Pacific Islanders for the Raiders in the Telesco era.
Yeah, because I see some. I'm gonna get into these wide receivers, man. I'm gonna do some wide receivers pretty soon here because I literally saw a depth chart and I was like, I gotta do some wide receivers, man. This is not no joke.
Wow.
I gotta start studying. This is not a joke. These guys are definitely drafting wide receiver. Like I like Leggett. I see someone talk about Leggett, but man, they gotta do something with that. And maybe they do something at 44. We don't know. But Leggett's a good guy that I have watched.
Hit the profile. I saw Derek was saying hit the wide receiver profile if you can.
Yeah, man.
I'm interested in that.
Yeah, let's do that. So I'm gonna do some wide receivers. I'm gonna get these guys going and deep dive into that. Yeah, because the Raiders are gonna do that. But yeah, guys, so enjoy this. Me and Matt, we're gonna be doing some I'm gonna be doing Jordan Travis. I think Matt's doing a guard. Not sure which one, but we're doing Jordan Travis, doing some guards. I'm gonna be checking out some guys. He's gonna be checking out Cornelius and Rice. I'll be checking out those guys. And we'll get this going, guys. So any last words, Glenn?
No, Audric Estime ran a 4.58. So anybody who said that it was riding that 4.7 time, 4.58, And the guy looks just like an Adonis Greek god. So just round 3.
He looks like he's 40 already, bro. He looks like he's 40.
That's fine. When you run through people like that, it ages you.
It does.
Give me 3 years, Roderick. 3 years. 3 years of just running people over, and I'll give you somebody else. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We're out of here. Peace.
Peace.